Namaste. Welcome to our Vinyasa flow yoga practice, the first one of the winter season. Let's grab a couple of blocks, a strap. You may want a blanket and a pillow if you have it around anyway. And we're going to be bringing the hips into flexion quite a bit today. So I invite you to start in any comfortable seated position in which you can lengthen your spine, feel relaxed and grounded. So take a moment to settle in to stillness. Whereas the summer season happening now in the southern hemisphere of this planet is experiencing summer. The energy of summer is very vibrant and active and fire element dominated. And in contrast, here in the northern hemisphere, as we are now in the winter season, the energy is more about being still, reflecting, slowing down, tuning inward as some animals hibernate. They conserve their energy for the springtime. So in what ways are you allowing nature's wisdom to remind you how to be in harmony with your environment? As yoga is much about harmony, not only within ourselves, but harmony with each other, harmony with the world that is around us. So in what ways can you honor stillness in your practice and even outside of your formal yoga practice? Moments to pause, honor the sacredness of pausing and slowing down. And even before taking action or reacting or responding to someone or something, in what ways can you bring a conscious attitude of pausing? So that is something I invite you to experiment with today in our physical yoga practice. So let's begin by pausing and being with what you can notice in the different layers of your experience right now. Start with your physical body. You might close your eyes to help you feel the sensations that are happening in your body in this present moment. Imagine you're traveling throughout different parts, your feet, your legs, your hands, your arms, all throughout. Being curious of how your body is communicating with you in its aliveness. Are there any areas that are really calling your attention right now? Maybe because they would like more care and nurturing. Or maybe parts that are healing. In what ways can you honor your body truthfully in your physical practice? Notice the flow of breath without controlling or changing how you're breathing. Through the breath, feel your energy, meeting yourself at the energetic level that you're at as you begin the practice. Tune into your mind and heart. What kinds of thoughts are arising? What kinds of thoughts have you been feeding your attention and growing? Without any need to judge yourself or what you're observing, just notice. What emotions are you experiencing? Letting sacred pause be a means to really tune in to see what's here right now more clearly and more deeply. Then allow the breath to slow down, filling up through the nostrils and exhaling through the mouth. Breath by breath, becoming gently deeper. You might honor a pause at the very top of your inhalation and a pause at the very bottom of your exhalation for just a few cycles of breath. As you continue to deepen your breath, I invite you to allow a moment to think of something in the past season, the fall season that was just a few days ago, lasting for a few months. And think of something that you can appreciate, something that you can celebrate in any area of your life from the season of autumn past. Practicing sincere gratitude is an empowering way to open our perspective, preparing us to now define an intention. What are you inviting in this winter season? What are you choosing to focus your attention and thus your energy on expanding in any area of your life? And now invite you to think of the life that surrounds you, remembering that we are all connected to each other. I invite you to choose somebody that you might dedicate this practice to today, a way of extending support for somebody else's peace and well-being. And now together, let's join our voices connecting with a vibrational sound at the very center of our Mother Earth, Om, chanting it 3 times to open the practice. So let in a deep breath. And now I invite you into another breathing practice called Ujjayi Pranayama, which means from Sanskrit, victorious breathing. And this is a way to balance the energy in your body as you start to move the body especially, while inviting calm and focus so that you're moving with mindfulness. So it's done by closing your lips, breathing just through your nose, and creating a very gentle whispering sound that you can listen to in your breath. by softly narrowing the back of your throat. I invite you to give it a try and start now. And while you can hear your breathing, your attention is in the present moment. So it's a way of anchoring your mind. And also you can regulate how you're breathing. So now see if you can breathe in to the very full extent, but very gently, and breathe out just as slowly. So you're balancing the breath in with the breath out. Taking your time. And now smoothen out the transitions between the breath. Can you hear the breath in when it ends and when the breath out begins? So smoothen that out. So basically you are establishing the energetic qualities that you're going to move your body with as we flow to the pace of the breath. Now see if you can keep this rhythm that you can hear in your breathing going. If you can't hear your breathing, I invite you to pause, because that's a big invitation in our practice today, and notice where your attention is. Bringing your attention back to the breath, come back to nurturing the sound that you can hear in the breath. So you're not moving the body without the sound of the breath, really synchronizing movement and breath. So now I invite you to come down onto hands and knees, and we'll start to move the spine to the breath. Spread your fingers flat at the front of your mat and stack your shoulders on top of your wrists. Step your knees a couple of inches behind the hips. Now this is called Vinyasa in Sanskrit, and it means cat-cow. As you breathe in, glide your chest forward, roll your shoulders back and down, lifting your gaze into cow pose. As you breathe out, keep your arms straight as you contract the abdomen, drop the head to round the back, cat pose. Again, inhale, draw the chest forward, coiling it up. Listen to your breath, go just as slow. Exhale as you lift the belly in, dropping the head and tailbone. And then keep going another 3 or so cycles of breath. Now at the end of your next exhalation, tuck your toes behind you and lift your hips high, entering downward facing dog, where you might spend the first few breaths just moving your body any way that it may need to loosen up, like pedaling your feet in place, maybe adding to that, swiveling your hips side to side, maybe also shaking and nodding your head while you lift your shoulders and hips back. Spread your fingers wide and flat. Open up across your shoulder blades by wrapping your triceps downward towards the floor, and let your skull hang loose. Now start to find stillness for a few breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let your eyes land on one gazing point to help steady your mind. Now listen to your breathing. When you hear the end of the next exhalation, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat into a forward fold. Bend your knees a lot in this forward fold and catch opposite elbows, swaying your spine, relaxing your neck, floating the shoulders up as you drop your head freely. And then from here, place your hands onto your hips, point your elbows towards the sky. Leading with your chest, inhale to slowly rise all the way up to mountain pose. Standing tall. Separate your feet hips width apart, parallel to each other. And join your hands in prayer in mountain pose, connecting to what you are inviting in this winter season. Bring the energy into that, into how you move your body to your breath, calling it in like a moving prayer. as we offer gratitude to the sun for the experience of a new day. Surya Namaskar Si. Now, as you breathe in, sweep your arms forward and overhead, gently coiling your chest up into Urdhva Hastasana. As you breathe out, bow forward over your legs into Uttanasana. Plant your fingertips on the ground. Inhale as you step the left knee behind you. Kneeling lunge, look up. While holding your breath, step into plank pose. Exhale, lower your knees, then chest, then chin, Ashtangasana. Inhale, slither forward, drawing your shoulders back and down into Cobra, Bhujangasana. Exhale, press up and lift your hips back to downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left foot beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee and gaze up. Exhale, your right foot forward and fold. Press through your feet, inhale, rise. Find a gentle back bend at the top. Then exhale, gather your palms in prayer at your heart center. Second side, inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Lower the fingertips, inhale the right knee back this time, kneeling lunge, look up. Hold your breath as you step to plank. Exhale, lower knees, chest, then chin. Inhale, slide through to Cobra. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale the right foot forward, left knee down, look up. Exhale the left foot forward and fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale the hands together, mountain pose. Let in a deep breath, slowing down your breathing again. Listen to that sound at the back of your throat. Match the length of the exhale with the length of the inhale. So let's move into sun salutation A. As you breathe in, sweep the arms overhead and gently back bend. Exhale, forward fold. Press your hands on your shins, 2 blocks or the ground, and inhale, lengthen your spine forward into half forward fold. Hold the breath as you step to plank pose. Now this time, firm in the belly and exhale, glide forward, lowering halfway down to pause in Chaturanga Dandasana. Hug the elbows to the ribs. Choose Cobra or upward facing dog as you breathe in. Exhale to downward facing dog. This time, cultivating stillness as you steady your gaze for 2 slow cycles of breath. When you've emptied the second breath, walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, press with your hands to lengthen into Ardha Uttanasana, half forward fold. Exhale, again fold. Press with your feet. Inhale, rise up into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, join your palms in Padasana. Once more. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, lengthen Ardha Uttanasana. Either walk to plank or float to Chaturanga Dandasana if that's part of your practice. Continue into your Vinyasa on your own. Pausing in Adho Mukha Svanasana for 2 deep breaths. When you've emptied the second exhale, walk or float to the top. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Padasana. Again, deep breath in, slowing it down for a moment of pause, recalibrating. Just the slow breath out. Sun salutation B. This time bring your feet together to touch, and on an inhale, bend your knees together to touch. Sitting low in chair pose, lean your weight back towards your heels, Utkatasana. As you exhale, shift your weight forward and hinge from your hips, Uttanasana. Inhale, press to lengthen to Ardha Uttanasana. Step or flow back into your version of Vinyasa. Now from downward facing dog, keep your hips leveled in height. As you inhale, raise the right leg back. Then gently exhale, step the foot forward beside the right thumb, spin the left heel down. Inhale, rise to stand in warrior one. Ride your exhalation down into a vinyasa. From downward facing dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale, quietly step the foot beside your left thumb, drop the right heel. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale to lower into your vinyasa. Downward facing dog, pause for 3 to 5 breaths, slowing down your breathing and smoothing it out. Listen to the qualities of your breath. When you can hear that your breathing is calmer and slower again, walk or float to the front of your mat. With feet together, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale to rise. Last one, Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Insert your vinyasa here. Moving at your pace of breath, no rush. From downward dog, inhale the right leg back. Exhale the foot forward, drop the left heel. Inhale to warrior one. Exhale down to your vinyasa. Now keep going onto your left side on your own. Pausing in downward dog for 3 to 5 breaths. And of course, if your body is asking you to rest, honoring that. If you're ready to continue, empty the breath before you walk or jump lightly to the top of your mat. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. And exhale to rise. And pausing here. Allowing a moment to briefly check in with those different layers of your being again. Your physical body, your breath and energy, your mind and heart. What's present for you right now? And how are you honoring that? Let's turn to face the wide width of your mat. Bring your 2 blocks with you. And you may want to strap as well. So step your feet very wide apart, preparing for a wide-legged forward fold. Parallel your feet, and if you think that you're going to need blocks to place your hands on in front of you, if the floor is too low, that's where you can place the blocks. Otherwise, you can place the blocks behind your calves for later. Now the strap may be useful because I'm going to invite you to clasp your hands behind your back. And if you find it challenging to lift the hands away from the lower back when you do that, holding a strap between your hands gives you space between the hands to be able to increase your range of motion. So hands clasp or hold a strap behind you, parallel the feet, and inhale, roll your shoulders back. Exhale, shift your weight forward and begin to hinge from your hips. Aligning your pelvis with your ankles, As you completely drop your skull, relax your neck. How is your breathing? Now feel free to bend your knees any amount to prevent rounding the back and tensing the shoulders and breath. Stretching the arms away from your lower back, put a little bend in the elbows and lift the shoulders away from the neck. Wide-legged forward fold, or in Sanskrit, Prasarita Padottanasana. Last 2 breaths here. Now go ahead and lower your fingertips onto your blocks or the ground. Press down with your hands and stretch your spine parallel to the floor while gliding the shoulders back. I'm going to mirror you here. So place your right hand front and center. Raise your left arm. Keep your pelvis still and start to twist to your left side. Turning the rib cage. Draw the shoulder blades away from your neck as you stretch the top of your head forward each in-breath. Feel the reach of your top hand opening the front of that shoulder. Couple more breaths. Switch hands. As you raise the top arm, stretch the spine forward as you breathe in. Keep the pelvis still and turn your rib cage little by little as you breathe out. Send both your shoulders away from the ears. Deep breaths. Lower both hands and bending your knees. Place the blocks behind your calves if they're not there already. And bring your hands to your hips. Point your elbows to the sky. Inhale to rise. Now, as I mentioned, I'm mirroring you. So from your right hip socket, turn in your right leg 45 degrees. And from your left hip socket, turn out the left leg 90 degrees. Align your left heel to the arch of your right foot. And open up your arms as we prepare for triangle pose. Now equally root through both feet, relax the shoulders, balance out the arms, all the fingers together of each hand. Glide your pelvis sideways towards your right foot and lengthen your torso sideways towards the left foot. Lower the left hand onto your shin or just to the left of your shin, maybe on your block. And feel that your left glute is rotating underneath you so that you're directing your tailbone back towards your right heel. And then spin your chest slightly to face the sky while sending both of your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Find a point to steady your gaze or drishti on for the last 3 breaths of triangle pose, Trikonasana. Now look at the ground ahead of your left toes and prepare to shift into half moon pose. Walking your left hand upper left corner of your left pinky toe, drag your right foot forward and flex it off the ground, recreating the shape of triangle pose as you balance on one leg. Check in with your breathing. Very gently step your right foot back to the floor and parallel your feet, legs straight. And just pause. Allow a moment to observe anything you're noticing internally. From the left hip socket, rotate the left leg internally, 45 degrees. And from the right hip socket, rotate the right leg externally, 90 degrees. Align your right heel to intersect the arch of your left foot. And as you equally press down through both feet, open your arms and balance them out. Glide your hips sideways towards your left foot as you reach the torso over the right leg. Lower the right fingertips on your shin, or just to the right of your shin, maybe on a block, where you can still rotate the right glute under you while spinning your chest slightly to face the sky, tacking the crease of your right hip back towards the left heel. Continue to lengthen the crown of your head forward. Now let your eyes steady on one spot as you listen to 4 more deep breaths in Trikonasana. Gaze at the ground ahead of your left toes. Steady your breathing as you transition to half moon pose. Walk your right hand upper right corner of your right foot and drag your left foot in, flexing that foot off the ground as you recreate the shape of triangle pose. Let your eyes steady. Ardha Chandrasana. With a slow exhalation, gently step your left foot down. And this time, cartwheel your hands to the ground for Vinyasa, cat-cow, or go straight to downward facing dog. Downward dog, inhale, sweep your right leg behind you, and exhale, step the foot forward beside the right thumb. Stay high on the ball of your left foot and inhale, rise to crescent lunge. Feet hips width apart, parallel. As we prepare for a spinal twist, bring the feeling as if you're dragging your feet towards each other. Keep your hips squared forward, and with your right hand, cup the top of your right thigh to root down through the legs while you inhale to lengthen your spine forward. Exhale, start to turn your rib cage to the right, either lowering the left hand on a block or the floor, inside of the right leg on a block or the floor, right under your shoulder, or hook the left elbow outside of your right thigh, or you could join your hands in prayer, open the arms wide, or bind. As you breathe in, root down through the legs and keep stretching your spine forward. As you breathe out, keep your pelvis still and continue rotating your rib cage. This is a variation of twisting side angle pose, Parita Parshvakonasana. Now gaze at your right toes, bring your hands overhead and come back to crescent lunge. Shorten your stance 1/3 and press the back heel down, straightening the legs as you continue to square your hips forward. Bring the arms behind you to open your chest, either pressing fist to fist, holding opposite forearms or elbows, or bringing your palms together in reverse prayer. Now spread your toes and energize your legs and belly. Pyramid pose. Breathing in, lift your heart up. Breathing out, begin to hinge forward from your hips, slightly tacking the right hip back while keeping your throat open. Parshvottanasana. Now start to lift your chest and look past your right toes, shifting all your weight into the right foot for Warrior 3. Parallel your left leg to the floor as you square the hips. Stay in Warrior 3 or bow into the right leg in standing splits, whether you place your hands down or try it hands free. Take your time stepping back into Warrior 1. Pause for a breath in and exhale to a Vinyasa or straight to downward dog. Downward facing, honoring a moment to pause and observe yourself, your mind, your body, your breath and energy. What are you noticing?
Inhale, sweep your left leg behind you. Exhale, step the foot gently beside the left thumb in a high lunge. Inhale, rise to crescent pose. As you square your hips to face forward, cup the top of the left thigh with the left hand. Imagine you're dragging your feet towards each other. Stretch the spine forward, and as you exhale, begin to twist to the left. If you can, in the same way you twisted on your first side. Breath by breath, deepening the twist. Parita Parshvakonasana. Look down at your left toes and rise up to crescent lunge. Shorten your stance 1/3, drop the back heel and straighten your legs. Keep your hips equally facing forward and bring your arms behind your back. Fist to fist, holding the other forearm or elbow on top, or reverse prayer. Rooting down through the legs, inhale, tilt your heart up. Exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips, breath by breath. Parshvakonasana, pyramid pose. Look ahead of your left foot and start to lean into warrior three. With hands or without hands, square your hips and flex your lifted foot. Optional to bow into standing splits. Step back to warrior one. Pausing here, let in a deep breath. Last vinyasa if you would like to take it. Now in downward dog, choose one inversion, final inversion, that is active. Stay in downward dog because that's one. Come down to your forearms, dolphin pose. Or if you normally practice headstand, invite you into headstand, giving yourself about 10 deep breaths in your inversion before we meet in child's pose. Allow a few breaths to pause in child's pose, Balasana. And then gently roll yourself up so that we can prepare to open up the fronts of the hips and thighs in contrast to hips and flexion that we've been focusing on to balance it out before we back bend. So either sitting on a block between your ankles, on your calves, or on the floor between the ankles, point your toes back and separate your knees no wider than hips distance in front of you. Supine hero's pose. Breath by breath, to your degree, listen to your body, begin to lean back. You might lean back onto props like your pillows and blocks. You might lie flat, not forcing anything. As you keep your knees on the ground, seal in the bottom of your front ribs. Optional if you're leaning back completely to hold opposite elbows overhead. We're just here for about 10 deep breaths. Supta Virasana. Gently begin to lift your torso upright and stretch your legs out in front of you in Dandasana, stick pose. And please lie down on your back, bending your knees for bridge pose. Optional to hug a block by the skinny width between your thighs for lower back stability support. So for bridge, bring the feet back until you could almost touch them with your fingertips, but not quite. Parallel your feet about hips width apart. Tilt the chin back as you lift the hips high, slide the upper arms under your back ribs, staying for 5 to 10 breaths before you lower to rest. If your hands happen to touch while your arms are straight, you could interlace your fingers. Press the ground away with your outer upper arms, 4 corners of your feet, and stretch the fronts of your thighs forward while spinning your inner thighs slightly towards the floor. Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. When you have lowered your body very gently, just pause and rest for a couple of breaths. Notice what you feel. Now, for the second of 2 more back bends, you could either practice bridge pose again on your own. If you normally practice upward facing bow and know how to do that in alignment that is safe, then you're welcome to practice upward facing bow Urdhva Dhanurasana instead. So choose your next back bend for 5 to 10 deep breaths. And lower to rest for a couple breaths. All right, for our last back bend, I invite you onto your stomach for your choice of bound locust, where you clasp the hands behind your back and keep the legs straight as you lift up, or bow Dhanurasana, where you hold your feet or ankles, kick the feet away as you pull them towards you, lifting your knees. So take your choice for 5 to 10 breaths. Remember to keep your knees from splaying wider than hips distance, and try to lengthen the back of your neck, soften the shoulders down, look slightly down. And when you've let go, you might windshield wiper your shins side to side for a few deep breaths. Just inviting ease in your lower back. Then please press up to sit with your legs in front of you for a seated spinal twist. Crossing your right foot over the left knee as you keep the left leg straight or as you bend the left knee. While equally grounding both sitting bones, place the right hand behind you and sit up a little taller as you breathe in. Twist to your right as you breathe out, breath by breath. Lower your left arm to hold your right leg or to hook the elbow outside of it. And gently unwind to switch. Opposite side, left foot outside the right knee, right leg straight or knee bent. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. Straighten both legs in front for Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. Flexing your feet, you could use a strap around the balls of your feet. If you tend to round the back, that will help you not round the back, so you can lengthen the spine fully. So sit up a little taller as you breathe in, fold from the hips as you breathe out, breath by breath. Some of you might clasp your big toes. Find a slight lift in your chest, even as you're bowing in. Pressing down through the pelvis, breathe in. 2, slowly rise up. Please find a comfortable way to sit for one more pranayama before we lower to rest in Shavasana. I invite you into a breathing technique that helps us to tune deeper inward in the energy of winter, of cooling, of slowing down, and really finding a sacred pause, honoring the stillness within. This is called Nodi Shodhana Pranayama, and it also helps to balance the lunar and solar or yin and yang energy within. And it's done by resting the left hand in the lap. You could bring the thumb and first finger to touch, palm face up to help concentrate. The right hand is in Vishnu Mudra, sticking out the thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. Breathing with the mouth closed, very softly, no longer trying to create a sound. We'll use the right thumb to close the right nostril, like this, and the right ring and pinky fingers to close the left nostril, like this. Alternate nostril breathing. Let's practice 3 cycles together, 3 cycles on your own, before we let go of controlling the breath. Then notice how you feel. You might close the eyes and direct your inner gaze towards your third eye center at the center of your brain. Empty this breath to prepare. Cover the right nostril with the right thumb. Inhale left for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close left. Exhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close right. Exhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Second cycle. Inhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close left. Exhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Inhale right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Close right. Exhale left. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold 2, 1. Third cycle. Inhale left for 6. Hold 2. Close left. Exhale right. 6. Hold 2. Inhale right. 6. Hold 2. Close right. Exhale left. 6. Hold 2. Continue 3 more cycles.
and notice anything you feel. As you continue to notice, please begin to lower your body into your final resting pose, lying down, closing the eyes, and being still and present for a few minutes of Shavasana. Notice how your physical body feels now. And gently begin to wake it up. Listen to how your body wants to begin moving and stretching. Slowly turning over onto your right side and resting your head for a few moments to observe the breath. And notice how your energy feels. Then take your time pressing your hands into the ground to lift your body slowly into a comfortable way to sit. No rush. Remember, this practice is about honoring the winter season of slowing down and taking our time, pausing, not trying to get to the next thing so quickly. And so we begin our meditation practice of really pausing to observe. Observe where your attention goes. Notice where your attention is right now, and notice how that feels. And so as we leave our formal practice of yoga and live our yoga, in what ways can you bring sacred pause into your days? to observe your mind, to observe what you've been giving your attention, even the kinds of thoughts that you're believing, and even to pause before you respond or react to somebody. These are ways that we can integrate our yoga, besides stretching the body, but the life of yoga, into remembering what the ultimate point of yoga is: liberation, being free of the constructs of the mind, and being our most authentic selves. And so as we begin this, we bring this practice to a close. I invite you to think of somebody who has been your teacher along your path of learning more about yourself. This could be somebody who was an easy teacher. This could be somebody who was a challenging teacher. And allowing a moment to offer them gratitude for the ways they helped you to evolve in your awareness. And with gratitude, I invite you to remind yourself of your intention this winter season. Remember to whom you dedicated this practice. And together, let's join our voices, chanting Om. This time, letting your voice be a way of sending out the vibration we've co-created here as a way to share the peace and well-being that we receive through our practice. So let in a deep breath. Bowing in, honoring the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.